This episode of Critical Hit is brought to you by Harry's. Listeners of this show can redeem their trial set at harrys.com/critical hit. Make sure you go to harrys.com/critical hit to redeem your offer and to let them know that we sent you so you can help this show. Mailbag time. This week, this one is coming from Red. Yep, I think that's the person's name, Red. Not much of a story. I just wanted to tell you guys, I listen to you guys when I travel to work and love the podcast. I'm on episode number 24 right now, The Way of the Dragon. I am hooked. I am new to Dungeons & Dragons, and I would love to get into playing myself. I just don't know where to start. Rob, where should he start? Or she. Maybe it's a she.
Usually the best place is to go to a local gaming store.
Yeah.
They'll at least know of people.
Yeah. A lot of times you'll find in the gaming store they have some sort of resource or a board of people who are seeking a game or games who are seeking players, or at the very least you can just sort of wander around and see other people who play the game, and maybe they'll get invited and you'll meet some new friends.
Yeah, if you got a game that's doing the Adventure League, I would definitely suggest giving that a go. It's a pretty good way to kind of ease yourself into Dungeons & Dragons with the current edition.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a pretty simple addition to current ones, so not a bad place to start.
Doesn't it? Roll20 has a system of looking for group, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They got basically forums that you can...
If you live somewhere with a gaming store, I'd certainly encourage you to try to make some kind of in-person game your first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think
definitely.
you just get better interactions that way, and Roll20 can be a little fidgety.
Mm-hmm. So what about people who say, I don't have a gaming store within like 200 miles of my house?
I've never tried it myself. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, like, sometimes local libraries do gaming nights, and you might be able to go to something like that, even if it is just like a board gaming night. There's a lot of overlap in those communities, so if you go there to, like, play Settlers of Catan, you might find some people that are also interested in D&D.
I've never used it myself, but I hear good things about Meetup.
Oh, right.
I think people can have found gaming groups through that. The other thing is you can use resources like the Pathfinder and WotC, or like Wizards of the Coast, like the D&D, like active campaign stuff, because both of those companies have things where there's an ongoing storyline with canned adventures that come out regularly, and they'll usually have some sort of locator. So you might be able to, even if something is not a game store specifically, they might run it. For example, there's actually a toy store near me that carries like 8 gaming books at any given point, but they do release events for Magic the Gathering, and they do Pathfinder stuff.
Yeah, I was going to mention that when we used to have a Hastings, they used to have something like that with Dice Masters and other events like that, Magic the Gathering. I like Sam's idea of the library. That's a really great idea, because I do know that they try to get a lot of different activities going on besides just literary stuff. And I would bet, even if you think you don't have a game store or some kind of hobby store near you, you might be surprised. I would bet that for most people, thinking about geographic distribution and everything, within 100 miles, within a 2-hour drive, you should be able to find something.
Also, if you are in school, or maybe just out of school, colleges will often have gaming groups.
Yeah, look for, the Cat G?
Yep. That's
true.
How,
that's where Rodrigo and I met.
Yep. That's right. That's how a lot of us got into this stuff. So
there you go. Well, I hope that helps, Red. And listeners, if you have any questions, just send an email to me, podcast@majorspoilers.com, and we will talk it over in a future episode. Before we get into the show this week, I want to let you know a little bit about our Patreon page at patreon.com/majorspoilers. Thanks to a large number of you listening right now, we have hit goal after goal after goal that we have at patreon.com/majorspoilers so that we can bring more shows to you. How cool are these patrons? Well, they now have access to Critical Hit a week early. Yes, that's right. You can head over to patreon.com/majorspoilers right now. If you're a Patreon member at the right level, you get access to Critical Hit a week early. In fact, you have access to a super secret RSS feed that will get you all of the super secret shows that we release. Flashback podcast, Major Spoilers podcast pre-show discussions about all sorts of things, bonus tracks. I cannot wait till we get to that Patreon level that will bring you the GM Roundtable. What's the GM Roundtable? Once a month, we will do a live stream specifically for our patrons where you get to ask us your Game Master DM questions, and we'll answer them for you. We'll give you feedback right there on the show. That's coming up in one of our future Patreon goals. So is getting you Critical Hit 2 weeks early. How about that? Find out more and sign up today at patreon.com/majorspoilers. Thank you so much for your support. Critical Hit is being brought to you this week by Harry's. You know Harry's, they've been a sponsor of this show for such a long time, and we appreciate them, and our faces appreciate them. I know my face does. I recently shaved the beard completely off, so I've been not just shaving the neck, but the whole face. And of course, I've been using those Harry's razors because they give me that close shave, that smooth, comfortable glide from the razor. I love the design of the handles. I like the more plasticky grip, although if you're someone that likes chrome, they have those available too. I know. Some of you are more than happy to pull just any old blade off the store shelf and go to work on your face. Harry stands behind the quality of their blades, and they know that switching razors isn't an easy decision, so they've created a trial offer, and you can claim yours by going to harrys.com/criticalhit. Because Harry's sells directly to you over the internet, they can offer their blades at a price that's much lower than the leading brand. $2 per blade compared to 4 or more? That seems like a no-brainer to me. Plus, they have that quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, you let Harry's know within 30 days, and they'll give you a full refund. You can get a $13 value trial set that comes with everything you need for a close, comfortable shave. It includes the weighted ergonomic handle, 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, a rich lathering shave gel, and of course, a travel blade cover. What are you waiting for? Listeners of this show can redeem their trial set at harrys.com/criticalhit. That's right. Make sure you go to harrys.com/criticalhit to redeem your offer and let them know that we sent you to help support the show. Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out this week. Everybody's sleeping. Everybody's napping. Except for Orem, who's keeping an eye out for all the good little boys and girls in the land. And also Sakar.
Orem is Santa Claus?
Shh. Quiet. Got that out of the way. Rodrigo.
What the
What's
what?
Hey, there's people listening to this show that don't need to know Orm's true identity, okay? We all know that Orm is a magical elf.
Jolly old elf.
He's not old, but, you know.
He's old by most people's standards.
He's pretty old, dude.
He's not that old.
He's like 31.
He's old,
Oh.
man. And I'm a vampire. I mean, I could be hundreds of years old, and Orem's old.
Yeah, and then there's
You're
also
only
Sakar.
part vampire.
That's true. The left half.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could be
So
tens
that's
of years old.
Rodrigo, it sounds like everyone's waking up from their naps. So let's get this party started.
All right. So last time,
On
Critical
Critical
Hit.
Hit.
Critical hit.
what did happen last time on Critical Hit?
We got poisoned
A lot.
We got unpoisoned.
by drow,
Not-
Yes.
Which is
which is
eerie.
kind of the opposite of what you expect drow to do.
If anyone
Yep.
knows about poisons.
Very true.
I think they might have both done it and undid it to take suspicions away because we didn't die like they had planned on.
I mean, they could have just let us die of the poison in the hallways. And then they're like, okay.
We did everything we could.
Whatever the drow are up to, it does not involve killing us right now.
Which is kind of what you do expect out of the drow.
Killing us?
So, well, yes, but not right now.
Later.
So yes, the party finds themselves in the Hexagon Towers, which is an island, which is a holy city for
The
Bronze Prince.
Prince.
Yep. The party came here on a diplomatic mission to see if they could get the Bronze Prince to join Erathis' coalition. But so far, the trip has not gone great, although not necessarily from a diplomatic perspective. It just hasn't gone great health-wise for the party.
From a not getting killed perspective.
General lung health.
I mean, we're all
Mostly
still
better.
standing, so
Yeah.
it's gone about as well as expected.
So the night, quote unquote, goes by uneventfully, but when everybody wakes up, it's kind of still night because everybody went to bed like super early.
Did we
Maybe
wind up
stop-
feeling dizzy or nauseous or having unexpected headaches?
Right now, most of you, I'll say everybody that has, we'll say less than a 20 constitution, is definitely feeling like very mildly nauseous and has kind of like a dry mouth, which is difficult to. It's like even if you drink water, it really doesn't go away, or it's temporarily goes away and then kind of comes back.
How does a dry mouth work when you have a bill?
I mean,
The
it still has a
inside.
tongue.
Yeah.
A
Still has
dry
a
bill.
Birds salivate?
soft palate? Sure, I don't know.
I don't know. I assume so.
We know that birds salivate because anytime a character finds themselves in the desert, vultures with like knives and forks and wearing bibs will start coming after them.
Right. And of course, the Ernie the Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs bird.
Birds have well-developed salivary glands.
Yeah, birds, mammals, and reptiles have salivary glands. Birds that consume dry food. What Sam said.
There you go.
Reptiles surprise me.
And that's how we learn, kids.
Yay.
Reptiles don't surprise me because you got things like Komodo dragons that
Oh,
kill things with their
true.
disgusting spit.
I forgot about that.
And Gila monsters
Yeah.
with their more disgusting saliva.
I want to heal a monster. I want to hurt a monster because he's trying to kill me.
Well, we heal you. That's close enough. You're reptilian sometimes.
No mothers, man. No mothers.
All right. So, whoever had last watch, is up. Orem is up because by now, enough time has passed, and then, the last couple people wake up, and there you guys are. It's like very early in the morning. It's like 3 a.m.
Okay.
By any chance, did they bring us food or anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Or I'm just sitting at the table eating, I guess, fruit, cheese.
So,
Meat between two slices of bread.
Fruit and cheese is fine.
Yeah, there's actually no meat. It's all like fruit, bread, and cheese. And
I like
water.
fruit bread.
This sure is really good water. We'll have to thank the Bronze Prince for this water.
so do we have a strategy?
Can't use the
The
same one we did
general
last time
idea-
because I've never met the Bronze Prince.
If I remember correctly, the general idea was to see if he still wants, or if he wants a new sword created.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yes, an offer to possibly
offer
talk to
to-
the...
Get the dwarf god.
Yes,
Hmm.
on his behalf.
Whose name I'm sure we know, but
Oh, is it Ulradon?
Mhm.
Yes.
Nice.
Have we looked into at all, seeing if we could finagle Baphomet's proposal to make the Bronze Prince in his position? And would that be perhaps a better plan?
Who's?
Arathis?
No, Baphomet's is about where the way he proposed that he would be basically the tiebreaker or the...
Don't think you mean Baphomet.
No?
Now,
Baphomet is
not in
the
this game.
goat-headed demon god.
Yeah.
So.
Was not his proposal where basically the gods...
Oh, we're talking about... Oh, right. We're trying to not... Yeah, I forgot about the not using his name. Yep, noted.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a plausible idea. Actually, from Ket and I having studied that, Asmodeus's version, it's very closely. Do we think that there's basically room for that to sub him in?
Sub him in as the arbiter?
Yes.
Probably not. Basically, he would have to match a lot of things that Asmodeus has already got going.
So we can actually use...
Yeah, bureaucratically, it was pretty much set up for Asmodeus to get it, and it would require... It would be a tall order for anybody else to step into that, especially given like potential attitudes. Like if the Bronze Prince doesn't want to do all that stuff, it would be difficult to get him to do it.
It'd basically take a whole different proposal into splitting the vote even further.
No, I mean, there could potentially be a way of doing that. It is just so slanted towards Asmodeus that there's no easy way of getting someone else to sub in.
So we can actually use that in our favor. Then we can point out that the opposing proposal is slanted
biased
for one person to be in charge, basically.
Yes.
And it's not the Bronze
him.
Prince. Yes,
It's taking away his old domain.
Yeah.
Worth a shot. So yeah, we've got the sword. We've got that. The question is what the drow offered him.
I have no idea what that will even possibly be.
Is there any way we can find out?
Probably not.
I mean, you could ask him directly.
I mean, other than
He does seem to be a man that respects.
I mean, he wants to be neutral and he wants to be fair
law
and balanced.
protocol.
Right.
So it's possible that attack would work. And I've considered sneaking around and trying to spy on the drow, but I assume that if I was caught, it would be disastrous.
Yeah.
Maybe in a less law-abiding place if we run into further. I don't know. I kind of feel like we just need to go in there and
make our case.
Yeah, make our offer, see if he's interested, and if not, then move on.
Yeah, fair enough. We've got other leads.
Yeah.
And we're not going to win them all.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if this is one that we want to particularly spend a lot of time trying to dissuade, but...
Yeah, I mean, we'll offer the idea of the sword, and we can also see if there's anything else that he might want done, like killing 12 monsters.
Yeah, ask for any tasks, ask for any trades, offer him the sword, point out that the deal with Asmodeus is clearly going to set Asmodeus as the arbiter of 90% of all things. Seems like a terrible plan.
Point out the history the drow have had of power grabbing.
The recent history the drow have had of power grabbing. That is 100% not my fault.
Yeah, about that.
Larger issues to deal with first. First the universe, then the city.
I suppose.
Want to check in with the spider outside and see if we've got a date or time yet?
Open the door, look up.
Mm-hmm.
Spider looks down.
Hello.
Hello.
We just wanted to see if there was any update on when our appointment will be.
Yes, your appointment will be at 8 a.m. promptly.
Okay. Thank you. Where will it be? Or will someone come to lead us there?
Someone will take you there.
For the
Good.
Rodrigo, for the purposes of today, I am fire,
Okay.
and my spell recall shall be mass transformation.
Okay.
No. I'm sorry. I'm going to go with the hex of.
Whoa.
No, that one's the ice power as well, so it's madness.
Okay.
Darn it, my crystalline breastplate does not have any poison option.
Oh. Can the twig have the +1 again?
Sure.
Yay.
All right, so we've got a few
Anything?
hours yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything? You walked around a little bit more. Anything we can do to kill time until then?
It's a nice place. It's kind of sterile, though.
Well, I'll do some exploring as much as they will let me.
Yes. I think you can be free to walk around. If there's a place that's off limits, I'm sure the mini crawling robots will let you know. I make myself presentable. Clean my robes.
We'll try as well.
Okay. So, did I hear somebody was going to go exploring around?
Yep, Sparkle is.
Okay.
Are you sneaking?
No.
I'm going to go with
Oh.
Sparkle then.
I think I will as well.
All right.
Just taking a self-guided tour. Or if there's anyone who wants to give me a guided tour, taking a guided tour.
Definitely nobody offers immediately. You can
That is
walk
fine
out of
then.
your room and the spider just keeps an eye on you while you're leaving and then just turns back to watch the door.
Cute.
And yep, you walk around, at night, you can really, really see that these spiders all glow. Like they have a definitive inner light that shines out. You also see a couple other different mechanical critters flying around. But definitely the spiders are the most numerous.
What do they tend to do?
Some of them are seem to be repairing things. Some of these buildings are damaged in some way. Some of them appear to be building things into the buildings, like boring holes into them and then generating this bronze, molten bronze that they then lay out over the holes, creating these filigree archways. And then
Neat.
some just appear to be sitting there doing nothing.
Are they various sizes or are they usually uniform size?
They're all uniform. They're all horse-sized.
Huh. So not something where we could find one of the ones that's inactive and snag it.
I mean,
Or-
you could try and snag it, but it's,
It's a horse.
big.
Seems like a terrible plan all around.
Right. Well, I mean, were they spider sized, we might be able to just, secretly have one for
Seems
nefarious
like a
purposes.
bad idea to take from the person we're trying to recruit.
Also, if you guys make it out to the coast, you can see some of them skimming around the surface of the astral sea.
Neat.
Should find out how that's done.
I think it's by skimming.
How they touch the astral sea without it destroying them.
Hmm. They're natives of this place. Maybe they have some adaptation to it.
Or maybe the metal itself is some sort of protective.
And there's certainly a few possibilities. It might become useful.
That's
Agreed.
certainly true. If we wind up getting knocked overboard again, that did not look fun.
It was not.
Yeah, I've been hit by some coil weapons like that.
So it's decided. Orem is going to have to learn how to summon one of these things.
Okay.
Yep. It's the size of a horse. I mean,
It's okay. I've got a dreadnought that I summon.
Yeah, exactly. If it's just limited by size.
Then I might be able to summon 4 of them stacked on top of one another, wearing a raincoat, trying to get into the movies.
Well, the dreadnought
man.
is large, right?
The dreadnought? Yeah, he's large.
Yeah, so that's the size of a horse.
Yeah.
As far as D&D is concerned.
wait, aren't I large?
No.
No, you're medium.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just
that doesn't
tall
make any
dude is
sense.
still medium.
Yeah, you have to get really pretty big before you hit large.
Just like you have to get really pretty small before you go down to small.
The thing is, this sentence, it makes sense, and yet somehow it still seems like it doesn't. That's wonderful. D&D
Oh, no, there's-
rules.
There's plenty of people I hang out with right now that would actually fit in a small category.
Sure.
Small's like 45 pounds.
Yeah, small is
halflings
like
and gnomes are like 3.5 feet.
yeah, small is like definitely below 4 feet.
We've had like complicated conversations in my household, unsurprisingly, about like what size category our pets are. So it's like the dog is size category small, whereas the cats are size category tiny.
That's right. The better to kill a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Look, they are sneaky.
So what else do you guys do?
Are there any, buildings that look, I guess, accessible? Or like
There's
signage?
buildings that, yeah, if you look around hard enough, there are buildings that don't have any sort of like doors to them. They just have like holes.
Cool. I'll start like exploring interiors unless told not to.
Yeah. I mean, you can find one where there isn't any activity, and yep, it just looks like a big, like they just hollowed out one of these towers. And you can see like, 20, 25 stories up when you walk in.
Wow.
Interesting.
To what end?
Oh, it's hard to tell from this.
Hmm.
You can give me an architecture check.
All right. I have a
I'd let
plus
you give me
7
a
in
history
architecture.
check.
Oh, am I any good at that?
I'm going to guess
I am
no.
slightly good at that.
What do you mean you're going to guess no? Why you got to be that guy? I could be good at it.
Because I know your stats.
Well, that makes one of us.
My
But
history is
I'm
a
still
24.
My history is a 29. What
All
up?
right.
I'm sorry I
wanna
can't
play?
roll dice as well as you do, Matthew.
No one can. It is a thing.
It's a gift.
Looking at this hollowed out building, you would imagine that it's going to be some sort of storage facility, likely for something that doesn't need to be boxed up or in containers. Something that you can just have loose, like grain.
It's basically like a
Okay.
big grain silo.
Mm-hmm.
You ever approach one of the spiders?
Okay.
Hi.
It looks at you as you approach. Hello.
Are you all named?
Yes.
What is your name?
Triska.
Triska?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Triska. Ket Hazard. My friends Sparkle and Sark. Wow, my brain just
Sakar?
died. I've been looking at way too many magic cards lately. And I
Not
went to
at all
Sarkin
hurt
instead
by
of
that.
Sakar. Yeah,
It
my
happens.
friends Sparkle and Sakar. Are you able to skim across the surface like your friends out there?
Yes.
How do you do that?
Oh. Well, I just step onto the astral sea and move around like this, and jumps down from the wall and kind of moves its legs out and then back in, like out and in, out in.
What prevents you from getting hurt? Example, I got thrown into the astral sea a week ago or so, and almost died from just contact.
I do not know. What causes you to die on contact?
I'm guessing it's the materials each of us is made out of.
Probably being made of meat.
Oh, yes.
That's the one.
Yes, I am
What
not made of that. That might be it.
What are you made of?
Lawful divine energy, one supposes.
So you're
So-
a being of pure energy, and is this a shell or is this made of the same energy?
If it like takes a leg and kind of scratches one of its pedipalps, I suppose I am a corporeal being, but I am made of divine energy. You know, like, I don't know, angels or devils.
See,
We're just-
native.
Pure substance. It was very interesting. So what do you do here?
Right now, I am supervising.
Supervising what?
Well, nothing right now.
So you're intended to be a supervisor?
Correct.
When you are actively doing your job, is it anything in particular, or is it just whatever needs supervised at the time?
I suppose I can be assigned to any number of tasks to supervise,
Okay.
but I do have an assignment which is just not active at this moment.
Care to share that with me?
My assignment?
Yeah, what is your assignment at the moment?
Well, it starts walking up the wall of a building. You see, there are approximately 25 other units, which are, and it just gets like lower and lower and lower as it starts, scaling like 10, 15, 30, 45 feet away from you. And then it kind of like turns around, looks at you guys, which are presumably still down on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
comes back down. You can't climb up walls either.
No. Well, Cat can.
Yeah, I'll click my heels together and I'll follow this time.
Well, what about
I
your
can. I
friends?
just wasn't ready for you for that.
No. Not how steep are the walls?
They are completely perpendicular to the ground.
Yeah, not these walls.
Also, they're made of it's not completely smooth, but you'd have to make some pretty
pseudo-marble.
deep grooves in order to actually climb into them. Yeah, it's like porous material, but it's like all built from like a single sheet, right? It's not, there's no like seams or bricks to hang on to. Well, I don't have to climb up. I can just tell you. I just figured it would be easier to show you. Anyway, there are multiple units in this area, and each of them is tasked with building or destroying or moving certain objects. And in order for them to be able to focus the entirety of their or focus the entirety of their attention on their task, supervisors are assigned to prevent things from happening, like a building falling on one of them because they're not paying attention.
So you just make sure that none of the creatures you're supervising cause problems for the other creatures you're supervising.
Correct.
You're a project manager.
Yes.
What do you do outside of your work? Do you do anything outside of your assignment?
I do not.
Do you sleep or eat?
I do not.
Is that true for all of the denizens of the tower?
It is true for all the Maruts, certainly. But
do anyone live here besides Maruts?
A long time ago, there were other creatures that lived here, but upon the eve of the end of the God War, they were all sent to safety.
Who sent them away?
The Bronze Prince used the last of his power to send his people away.
Noblesse oblige.
Do you know if those people were non-native to the astral plane? Is that why they
don't think so. They were They would have lived here for several generations.
Are there any places, I guess, that you think would be of particular interest to outsiders?
Interest to outsiders. What are you interested in?
I don't know. Is there a museum or a laboratory or a library?
We do have those, but at this stage they are empty. We are preparing, we are hoping that eventually creatures like you will begin populating this place again. So we are working on it. That is why we are getting all these buildings ready. And that is why the Vakuts are working so hard on building new Maruts.
Oh, what is a Bakut?
It's like a very large humanoid stone creature, I suppose. I guess I've never been asked to define one before.
Would you be willing to take us to where that's happening? Is that something we could see?
I don't see why not. Follow me.
Thank you.
Do you want to go now?
Yeah, if that's all right.
I have to be back here by 1 p.m.
Oh, that's fine. We have a meeting long before that.
That is good. Meetings are good.
Meetings are good.
And it just starts walking down the street. Click, 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 click.
Having spent a lot of time working in a very big bureaucracy, it's somehow unsettling and refreshing and disturbing to see how efficiently this one runs.
This is a divine bureaucracy.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody in there trying to break the rules for their own gain.
Well, no, when within their own organization.
Yes, there is no corruption here. That is correct.
That's crazy.
Welcome to the Astral Sea.
Yep.
Somewhat refreshing.
Alien.
Bit of both, really.
So you guys walk down the city for a while and eventually get to what appears to be a small mountain, but is in fact a humongous pile of various metal parts. And once you get to it, the spider guides you around to circle around it, and eventually you see on the other side of it is a humanoid that appears to be made of stone, like the other critters that you've seen. Its joints don't actually exist. There's just like little glowing motes of light where its like shoulders and elbows should be, and the rest of it, what the other parts of its limbs are just kind of floating in relationship to it, like like there were actual sockets there. But this creature is enormous. It's the size of a 3-story building.
Whoa.
And it just kind of reaches out, and it's made of gray stone, and it's wearing basically a kilt and nothing else. And it just reaches out, and this like searing ball of energy appears in its hand. And it just reaches out with its other hand, and pieces of metal fly from the pile and begin building themselves into another spider like the one that's guiding you.
Wow.
That's nifty.
Yeah.
It
We
is.
should have brought Randus down here.
I have no idea. This happens every day here. Is that something that you find interesting?
Yes.
That is very interesting.
This does not happen where you are from.
No.
Not at all.
Very well. If I am ever again approached by tourists, I will bring them here.
That
No.
seems like a reasonable plan.
Now, who makes them?
Who makes them? I believe the Kaloots make them.
Oh boy, what's a Kaloot?
I can try and see if I can find one.
That would be amazing. This is very educational. Are they even larger?
No, the Vakuts are made for mass production, so they are
Mm.
very large. The Kaloots are more of artisans, I suppose. Oh, I think there should be one a couple blocks away,
Excellent.
and it just starts moving that way. And basically, as you guys walk away, like a big, bronzy spider, like walks, like that just got built, like walks past you, like, just like going to work.
Now, after you're created, do you need to, is there any training or education, or do you just know what you're supposed to do?
No, our reason for existing is pre-written into our being. Really, the form of a Marut, whether it is a worker like us or a diplomat like the ones you spoke to, they already exist. They're written into the fabric of the universe. The Vakuts just, I guess, pull us out of the world and into creation.
So is there only a finite number of you that can exist at any time?
I do not know.
How many of you are there on the island currently?
Currently, there are 251.
With that number increasing pretty quickly thanks to the Bakuts.
If that is what they're doing currently. They can do other things. They can build buildings and other things, but it is best to have them do this because we are preparing and we're trying to build up our numbers.
Are you worried?
I am not worried.
Is there a particular reason why you're trying to build up numbers?
Yes, so we can get this project finished for when the people return.
Okay.
We want to make this place hospitable and inviting, and for that you need buildings.
That is true. Have you sent envoys to let your former people know that you're open for business? Or preparing for their arrival?
I do not think so. It is possible that the Bronze Prince wants to have everything ready before everyone even knows that this is happening.
Reasonable.
But I do not always know what he is thinking.
Of course.
So you guys walk for a little while longer, and you round a corner, and you get to what actually appears to be like a small amphitheater. Just like a bunch of downward leading stairs with like in a circular configuration with a little dais at the bottom. And sitting on the stairs is another creature. It appears to be sort of like your handler, like Marudeka, but it is made of it appears to be made sort of out of porcelain, and it is dressed in sort of these like bluish robes, and its face mask is a lot more humanoid. It's not as rough as the Vakuts and the Maruts that you've seen.
More finely crafted.
Yeah, although it's still like it's kind of like a youth's mask. So it's not like it has like a lot of wrinkles or even that much detail, but yeah, it's like made out of smooth stone, and it actually has like, cheekbones and cheeks and like eyes, sort of, as opposed to the others, which just kind of look like, like their faces look like helmets crafted out to look like that, but this guy actually looks like it was made to be a face. And is sort of sitting on the stairs, leaning back, has one hand over its face, and it appears to be like thinking about something. And the spider just kind of stops in front of it, or a good distance away.
Is it, I don't know, meditating?
I do not know.
Are we allowed to approach it?
It is not illegal for you to approach it.
But it might be rude.
Does it seem to be doing anything or just contemplating?
It just seems to be contemplating.
Oh, start moving closer.
Okay. How close are you trying to get?
And like conversational distance.
Okay. Yeah, you can get, pretty close to it, to where you could have a polite conversation and it doesn't do anything.
Then when she gets there, she'll say, hello?
It kind of, it doesn't like jolt, but it like snaps out of it and looks around and looks at you and says, oh, hello. Is there a problem?
Oh, no. I was just curious what you were doing.
Oh, I was pondering.
What were you pondering?
A lighting system.
For the city?
For some of the buildings, and it like kind of stands up, and sort of with the same motion that it stands up, it just starts to float.
Ooh.
Like upward, and so do the rest of you.
Whoa.
Hello.
Ah.
Okay.
See,
Is it frightening?
I mean, you don't feel like you're being supported by anything. You're just in the air now.
This is disconcerting.
Yep. And it really doesn't feel like you're being... It's not like there's some sort of force at your feet that allows you to stand. You guys are just like...
It's like gravity stopped working.
Yep. But you are moving in the same direction that it is. And it's just like... You see, we're trying to create a system that is going to be both pleasant and efficient, and also won't burn any creatures specifically, but since we're not sure what sorts of creatures are likely to show up, I am trying to ponder what the best solution for that is.
So you're an architect?
In a sense. I'm more of an inventor, I guess you could say.
We know someone who might be able to help out.
Would certainly be interested in hearing your ideas.
Oh, yes? Who is that?
Our companion, Randus Duthane.
Randus Duthane. That person's in the city, right?
He is.
Is he available now?
Yes.
Unless he's... to make an appointment?
He should be... he wasn't doing anything when we left him in the room.
Yeah. If you want to follow us back to our quarters, we could see if he's still there.
No, I know where he is. And he basically does a wide circle with his hand, and a just like searing ring of light appears, and he just kind of extends his hand and just like actually pulls it over all of you. And you guys are in the room.
Wow. Orem is tossing grapes into Randus's mouth. Stops and looks at what's going on.
So yes, a just ludicrously bright ring of light appears on the wall, and then this porcelain robot, Little Sparkle, Sakar, Ket, and a robot spider all fly into your room.
Can I learn that trick?
I am not sure what your capabilities are. I am looking for Randus Duthane. I tried to make an appointment, but they told me not to.
Orem just points at Randus. That's him.
Yes,
very well. Do you have a moment to discuss lighting systems?
Sure. How long till the meeting?
You still have like 3 hours.
Yeah, I should have some time.
Probably less, probably 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, very well. And the window flies open and you all fly out of the room.
Does he
So-
actually take Orm with us?
Yeah, I think he assumed that he was like feeding him, so he's like necessary.
You're his caretaker.
Someone has to make sure Randus eats.
That's fair.
So anyway, I'm trying to create a lighting system that is self-sustaining and efficient and will not burn the skin off of whatever fleshy creatures end up moving into the city.
Have you considered bioluminescent algae farming?
Bioluminescent algae farming. He like stops everybody's flight, looks over at the spider. Are you capable of farming? And the spider kind of shrugs and is like, I can be. Is that something that might interest a looks Randus up and down human?
Interest?
Farming? Do humans enjoy farming?
Yeah, I think some do.
See, there's this concern, and you guys just start flying again. And when you guys are jetting, you guys are just like, you guys are moving easily at like a good 60 miles an hour through the city.
Oh, God.
See, there has been this concern raised about people moving in and not having anything to do. So we are also trying to figure out ways to occupy them. Would farming bioluminescent algae be something that creatures like you would be interested in?
Potentially, yeah. I think it could be considered a worthwhile endeavor. Keeping the lights on.
Creating organic things is much more challenging, but I think that it can be done. Very well, we will pursue this form of, or we will pursue this project for now. Is there anything you would like to know before we conclude our meeting?
You guys had a meeting?
We did now.
This is fascinating. This is amazing.
Right?
You should have come with us.
I keep telling everyone that the Bronze Prince has one of the best places I've ever been.
It's certainly
Yes.
the best run bureaucracy I've ever encountered.
Yes, the hexagon towers are quite magnificent, although they are not at their maximum potential.
You're just restarting.
Yes.
No, when you talk about organics, you're going to have food farms, right?
We were just planning on magically feeding everyone, but is farming something that people are interested in?
Some people.
Yeah.
It's one of the most common professions.
I do not know that I want to introduce such a complication for something as basic as feeding. Does everything? Do any of you ever eaten something that came from a farm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Farming
Why?
is how most food is provided on the material plane.
It is?
Farming,
Yes.
hunting, ranching.
Well, I knew about hunting, but we definitely do not want to introduce wild game into the city.
No, that's
That's reasonable. But yeah, farming of plants and livestock is, and fishing, trapping.
This is interesting. I do not know that it will gain a lot of traction.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to grow it yourself, one of the benefits of the Bronze Prince signing up with our group would be open trade agreements where materials can be shipped here, and those necessities, food and drink, and the things that biological beings need to survive can be shipped in.
Well, I think they're
That is-
magically making it.
Yes, that is not a problem. We can just create food.
Well, we'll see. Then that's fine too.
Our
how
concern
did
is
how did the food we have taste?
it tasted fine. It tasted like, bread and cheese and fruit.
And grapes.
Orb gives Randus another grape.
Okay.
The considering if you can magically create food, I guess there's probably no real reason to have food farms. It would be almost busy work unless there's things that you can't create, like fish.
We can
Was there any
create fish.
protein in the food that we had?
There was no meat.
I see, and that is necessary.
Yes. Most humanoids will become ill if they don't have protein.
I see. And protein comes from animals.
It comes from some plants and seeds and grains.
Right.
But-
right.
I mean, algae can be a source of protein, although
And cheese
flavor.
is a source of protein too.
Yeah.
Yes, though it's also, I don't know. You have to eat a lot of it.
Yeah.
But cheese is good.
That can.
It makes
have
my
its
stomach
own
upset.
Digestive.
Creating food is not an issue. Food is something that exists. Food is something that the universe knows. Things need to eat. So creating food is not an issue, regardless of what it is.
What did the
Ham
people
or
who lived
fried
here?
fish or whatever.
What did the people who lived here before do? You said you were worried about keeping them busy.
Well, we fed them, but back in those days, things were very different. War was common, so many of them were soldiers and clerics.
Hmm.
And then you always need, obviously, medics and transport operators and things like that when you have wars.
Well,
Oh,
if food isn't an issue and war is less likely to be necessary, you could make this a place for scholars or artists.
Artists are usually a problem.
Too chaotic.
Artists do not like to follow rules.
That's fair.
I do not know that we want to encourage art.
there are rules to most forms of artistry.
I suppose that's true. But don't new forms of artistry come about from breaking those rules?
Yes.
Yes, we don't want that.
You could have competitive sports.
We could.
We know someone who would actually love to send his people to compete.
We do.
Oh, yes? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. All of these things have to be approved.
Of course.
Right.
Do you have any other questions for us?
What is boredom? Because that is our problem. Things like you get bored and then they start breaking rules and acting up.
That's when you have nothing to do.
Yes. Yes, but we have nothing to do frequently because there is nothing to do sometimes. And we do not feel boredom. So it's more than that.
It's possible to be bored when you have things to do.
Yes.
But those
exactly.
aren't things that you wish to do.
It does not make any sense.
Yes. So at least all the sentient natives of the material plane I know don't have the same inherent knowledge of purpose that your people seem to. And they want to do many things. So even if what they are told to do at a time is to, I don't know, write a paper, they might at that moment prefer to be reading or taking a nap or
Even
talking
if
with
it is-
friends.
Even if it is their job to write that paper.
Yes. Almost especially if it's their job to write that paper.
Do creatures like you not find an assigned purpose to be a good thing?
Only so far. Creatures like us want to do various things throughout our days
Yes.
and lifetimes.
Yes, various things. So you wake up in the morning, you eat, you farm some algae, then you do sports, then you read, then you write a paper, then you go to sleep.
That could be someone's day, yes.
Yes. And then the next day you do it again, but then you get tired of it.
Yes.
Precisely.
Repetition can cause tedium.
If we change the order, would that be better?
It
So
will
one
help.
thing, it will help, and also to allow people to consider or have some choice in what their jobs are. So some people really do enjoy writing, but some people might prefer farming, and some people.
Yes, but we established that you are not born with an automatic purpose.
No.
So training a farmer to become an athlete seems like it would take a long time and be very inefficient.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that may be what the farmer wishes to do.
And what you could do is have most of their, I guess, efficiency time be devoted to farming, but they can have a recreational time where they can play a sport of their choice. And if they turn out to be good enough at that sport, then maybe they can transition from farming to playing that sport for the enjoyment of others.
Have you ever heard of the term fun?
Yes.
That's what people need. Fun and enjoyment.
Right. But everyone has different fun.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which makes it baffling.
Exactly.
Yes.
Are you having fun now?
Yes.
I mean, we're
yes.
flying, right?
Well,
This is an enjoyable conversation. People like learning new things often.
But if I tell them that they're supposed to read, they won't like it.
They may not, no.
It depends on the people, but often people have a rebellious streak. And they want to be able to read different things. Again, people have different tastes. So some person might enjoy reading history, while another person prefers reading romantic stories.
Well, I suppose if the point is to keep people entertained and keep them from being bored, then we can try and give them a variety of choices.
Yeah.
As to what to do.
Well, sometimes that's all you can do. And sometimes people will gravitate to the things that you give them, and sometimes they won't, and sometimes they will find their own things that they want to enjoy.
Right.
Yes. I'd say designate some recreational time and have recreational spaces that people can explore and decide what they enjoy the best. Considering that most people who move here will have been living in civilizations that do typically understand boredom and fun, they'll probably already have some idea of what it is that they do to have fun and avoid boredom, and they can better tell you what they will need.
Yes, but we would like to have some things ready before people show up.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, I know we were told that you were already working on a library and a museum.
Yes, we have those. There was that amphitheater.
Oh, what do you plan on having at the amphitheater?
I was hoping that the people would just use it themselves.
That's fair. But that will almost assuredly require some form of artists.
I know. It's such a conundrum.
Amphitheaters may also be used for schooling.
Yeah, but they're a lot more fun if they're being used for plays.
Philosophy.
what if we have a state approved list of things that can be in a play?
That's not a good idea.
You don't think that will work?
No. Again,
That is
the more rules and the more stipulations and the more that you tell people what they can and they can't do, the more resistance you're going to get from people. And ultimately, that will drive people away. And I don't think that's what you're ultimately wanting to do. So one thing that you can encourage is for people to express themselves. And even though that may be uncomfortable for you, it may be exactly what you need to help the population here grow.
Yes, but self-expression is very dangerous.
It can be. What you can do, though, is allow it in safe and regulated places,
Like
such as
the
the
amphitheater.
amphitheater.
And maybe there can be some sort of sheet where people sign up to use it.
Correct.
Yes, exactly. They can decide on times. They can put a schedule up of what will be performed there so that people know what to expect when they arrive.
Will it hinder their experience if nobody is there to listen to them?
Yes. But
Yes.
It may.
there
Should
may
we
be some
force
people.
people to listen to them?
No.
No. They will be sad if no one listens to them, but they will come up with their own ways to try to get people to listen to them. So if you want to
Yes, I
facilitate
do not like that.
Oh, why not?
I do not want them to shout through the city or entice people to come see them in unlawful ways.
Well, you can come up with policies to let them for you can have a square where you can post notices of when performance are going to be so that people, and then perhaps some kind of newspaper.
It sounds to me like you would need hundreds of laws.
Yes.
Yes.
But you don't need
Do
tens
all
of
of you come
thousands
from
of laws.
societies with hundreds of laws?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Well, coming up with laws is interesting.
I find that the best laws are the laws that are made up when they truly represent the people that the laws are supposed to be applied to.
Yes, but what if different people come?
Then
Surely
different
we
people-
could not apply the same laws to all of you. You are all different species.
Well, the good thing is laws can be changed and laws can be adapted and laws can be encouraged to grow as the population grows as well.
Changing
Yes.
laws is not something we like to do, but
Well, change is not something a lot of people are accustomed to, but it's a fact of life. And as I mentioned earlier, change is good. Being put in situations that you're not comfortable with is good.
yes, you'll
Yes.
probably want perhaps some kind of council that you can organize as people come with representatives of the different groups. And then they can share what is important to them.
I see. And we can have a building for that.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
A government building.
And you could have a building that's just a building for laws and lawmaking.
Yes, where people can read about the laws so that they know how not to break them.
Yes, and we'll force everybody to read all the laws.
No, again. The word force is probably something you should try to remove from your vocabulary. Again, people don't like being forced to do things.
If they don't know the laws, they might break them by accident.
That's true.
I mean, I think some amount of we had school was pretty much required when you lived in the cities. So there's some amount of forcing that.
Perhaps requirement is the better term.
Yeah, there we go. Unless you've
To
got
be
a
a-
really good excuse.
Exactly. To
Oh,
be a
I
part
see. I
of
see
the
what you're
society.
saying. So instead of forcibly making people do it, we just punish them if they don't.
Sort of.
This is the best.
Make the knowledge of the laws part of the process of becoming a part of the city.
You can also offer incentives for doing something. So say, if you go to this class on the laws, you get, I don't know, a nice house.
Oh, yes. If you take a class, you get something.
Yes. People
And if
like
you don't take a class, you are punished.
No.
That creates an incentive.
Yeah.
You want something good, and you do not want to have an arm chopped off. Because those don't grow back for you, correct?
Correct.
They do not.
No, they don't.
You may want to lax your punishments a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, most societies have very similar laws. So each of us, while we come from a very different place, can go into any of the others' places and get along without breaking the law fairly easily.
Oh, I see. Because there are common laws in between your societies.
Correct.
Yes,
So,
and
Like you are not allowed to kill each other.
correct.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
Because
we
you
should
don't
not
come back from the dead.
correct.
Yes. And most
You are not
you're
allowed to take things from each other
We should
Yes.
not take things from
unless
each
you exchange something for them.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, unless it's some kind of trade.
And you are not allowed to turn into each other, or else it will be very confusing.
Well, it's not something that most of us are capable of, so it's not really an issue.
I see.
And I think
don't
you
think
will
that's
find that
actually-
a lot of people will come in with the idea that there will be rules that will need to be upheld. And as Ket said, most people, or a lot of people, are aware of these inherent laws. Some people
I
call
see.
them morals or a moral code. But
I
not
see.
everyone follows them, but most do.
I mean, there are groups where it's not, nearly so bad to kill or steal. And there are also groups that really are upset if you say eat certain things or, I don't know, say certain things. So people are going to have their own moral hangups, and I hope that you guys talk to a lot more people than just us before setting the rules, because I would really hate to have any bad advice we gave you today mess up your nice civilization.
That would be a problem. But yes, in fact, a lot of the rules will be written by the Bronze Prince himself, who is capable of the same sort of independent thought that you all are.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. Yes. Well, there you go.
Because, none of us are actually legal scholars or sociologists.
Or indeed scholars of really any stripe.
Orm's a scholar.
Pointed.
Orm
Orm
just
and
stares at
Randus.
the car.
Yeah.
Really? Really?
Right, are you not on a diplomatic mission?
We are.
Oh, we're diplomats. It's just that Orm's had a fancy education.
I see.
That he reminds us about.
And our differing backgrounds give us differing ideas of what diplomacy is and is not.
Right. That must be difficult. Interacting with other people when you have different ideas of what democracy or what diplomacy should entail.
It can be frustrating, yes, but
Yeah, it's all we've ever really known, so.
It'd be frustrating, but it's also part of why it's fun.
Oh, fun again. Do you know any criminals?
yes.
Yes,
Oh,
we do.
He says, looking at Ket.
Well, we do not want any of those.
Looking sheepish.
Well, it's not like they appear with a, mark on their head.
We could put a mark on their head.
No, that is a bad idea. That's a really bad idea. I think the Bronze Prince would be best to do that. But again,
Agreed.
how can you detect a
They
criminal?
wouldn't
You
be the
can't.
first society that's done that.
And in matters of criminality, there are once again issues of degree.
Right.
Some
we don't
crimes are
really
worse
have
than
enough
others.
laws yet for there to be very good criminals.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate side effect of creating a perfect society like you're trying to do is it will attract people who want to corrupt and bring down that society. Some people might label those criminals. Some people will actually be criminals.
Yes.
You can't stop that from happening, but if you build a society that runs correctly, it will limit the desire for criminals to be here. And not by enforcing strict, harsh laws, but they will just not find it interesting.
I mean, most criminality, as far as I'm encountered it, is caused by fundamental problems in a society.
Right.
Like if people don't have enough to eat or don't have
the same
anything.
Resources as someone else.
Exactly.
Or if they're perceived to be different.
Yes. Or if they're, desperate or ill in some way.
But people get mad if they have the same resources as someone else.
It is not
Someone
unheard
could move
of.
here,
Yes.
and we could feed them every day as much as they could eat and clothe them. This is within our power. But
Well, that's great.
if they see themselves as superior to someone else, this will make them unhappy because they will know everybody gets the same.
And if they act out upon that, punishment.
Is there a way to prevent them from being unhappy with that? If
I'm
we give
thinking
them
about that.
more, then everybody will be unhappy.
So, I mean, it depends on the type of people you attract. There are people who are fairly content to live in somewhat harmony with their neighbors, if they feel that they're satisfied with their own thing. I guess the best way is possibly if no one's going to be above anyone else in terms of resources, to let people shine in different ways. So that's what, maybe your theater or sports can come into, is that people, or you could have, other games of the mind so that people can show off and feel that they are better at other people and things that don't require anyone else to be not well off. Yes, exactly.
Yes. So we can have something like that where they can have an opportunity for recognition.
Yes.
And if they are bad at it and they feel bad about it, we can evict them.
No.
If they're bad at it and they feel bad at it, maybe just point them to something that they are good at. So,
or maybe just you need to encourage them to try again, and maybe they will improve.
Yes, depending on their inclinations.
Yes.
Yes, because you get better the more you do things.
Correct.
Right.
That is often true. Sometimes there's almost no matter how much you do a thing, it's not going to work out for you. But
that must be so uncertain for you. How do you know you're going to be good at something?
You don't until you try.
Well, even if you try, what if you're bad because you haven't practiced enough?
Well, that is maybe...
When we are created, we are already excellent at what we're supposed to be doing.
Unfortunately, we're not created
that way.
Right.
There's a satisfaction to learning to do something or improving one's skills.
Oh, that is fun to get better at something.
Yeah.
It can be. And it can fight the boredom that you're worried about.
Yes. Oh, yes. You should have classes that allow people to learn new things. People often enjoy doing that. So you could teach them to, play sports or, I know, again...
musical instruments.
Yeah, it's art. I know you're not a big fan of art, but...
music is always codified, at least.
That is true. We do use music.
To learn music or to learn about the principles of architecture.
Some people enjoy learning about religions and business
learn
and
the
laws.
law.
Yes.
And then people can find things that they're good at and that they enjoy, and then you'll be able to stave off boredom a little bit better.
It's a lot to ponder.
It is.
Yeah. Building a society from the ground up is, sounds really complicated.
It also doesn't happen in an instant. So
No.
it's a good society is one that will grow and evolve and change, and hopefully those changes make the society better than what it was before.
I feel that I'm going to spend a lot of time retrofitting Maruts.
Mm.
Perhaps.
It sounds
Indeed.
likely.
But think of it this way: isn't that your function?
Well, yes.
How would you be
And-
retrofitting them?
Well, when we come up with new laws, they'll have to know these new laws, and also, I am certain there are going to be lots of things that we haven't considered, like the fact that none of you can fly,
Yeah.
or the fact that you all are so generally frail, since you can die if you don't breathe, or eat, or get too much sleep. Is that a thing that happens?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
Not
we
enough
need.
sleep.
Yes, we need sleep, and if you don't give us enough sleep, we'll go crazy.
You have all manner of valves inside your bodies,
Oh yeah, waste disposal.
That's
That's a
true.
thing that I
and they all
hope you
have
guys
to.
are working
Yes, no, that is not an issue because that is a biological function.
on.
So we know you can't help that.
Yeah.
So those are not problems. Food, water, shelter, a place to sleep, waste disposal. Those are all things that we have taken into account. Medicine as
Sure.
well, although our medical facilities are not built. We know that your bodies break down easily. So
The complicated psychological satisfaction. That's
Yes.
trickier.
Well,
that
it
is
sounds
the
like
real
you have.
problem because it's different for everybody.
It sounds like you've put
Yes.
in the resources. Now you just need to, and you realize that people need rest. Now people just need the recreation part of it. So it sounds like you're on a good start.
Yes.
And we wish you
Maybe
much
I
luck.
can create a fun Marut.
Maybe.
Whoa, that seems tricky, but perhaps it can be musical or dance.
Yes.
Or be a referee for games.
Yes. And
Or
it can do
say
exciting
clever
things
things.
like chase you down the street.
Again, probably not.
That might be fun for some. You may want to make sure that the person wishes to be chased before they begin the chase.
Ask first.
Yes.
Yes,
like-
ask before chase.
Would you like me to chase you down the street? If you do, and then you can be chased, and you should probably be able to stop it if you want it's to stop chasing you.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. But
Right.
children do seem to like that kind of game, so
Yes,
Merit
very
tag.
young humanoids.
yes.
Yes, I understand tag. Tag has very simple rules.
Yes.
That is a sort of game that I enjoy. And by enjoy, I mean understand.
Mm.
And any permutations of it, like freeze tag or the banning of tag backs.
But not so much games that involve, say, lying.
No. Like gambling. That
Yes.
Hi.
is probably a real problem.
Gambling
Yes, agreed.
is not a problem.
Gamblers are definitely an element that you'll want to be aware of in your society.
We are aware of gamblers in that we know they exist.
Do you have a plan for them? I have never met a society that didn't have gambling.
I suppose we can just regulate it, or we will try.
There is always punishment.
Our thought was always that gambling tends to stem from need.
That's fair.
So
When you don't need money, what are you going to gamble?
yes, if you have all the food and all the clothes that you could want,
Gambling's
why
kind of
do you need the
pointless.
Gambling, except for fun, and then I suppose you could just, I don't know, agree on a certain number of tokens or something that you are gambling for.
Mhm.
But we do not want those tokens to take on any sort of extra value. So that could be an issue.
That's a reasonable tack. Oh, one thing that humans are probably going to bring with them, ask for, try to create if you don't give them, is intoxicants. That's just a guarantee.
I see. Yes, I understand there are many laws against those.
Yeah, but most societies should allow them in least some way, because otherwise people are just, you can't outlaw them. People will find a way.
So
Right.
the best way is to educate moderation.
Yeah. Make sure that people don't hurt themselves.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, as long as they don't abuse it.
Because we should not want people to hurt themselves.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. It seems to me that if people want to hurt themselves, they should be able to. Is that not how most societies operate?
It is.
That's a
I mean, you want to
complicated
try to make sure that they're not doing it by accident.
Right. Yes, railings and things like that.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Or-
I did not mean accidentally. I meant making the conscious decision of imbibing too much alcohol and
Yeah, so long as
hurting
they're not
yourself in
going to
that
like
sense.
hurt someone else by imbibing too much alcohol, you know.
Well, if they break the law after imbibing alcohol, the law would not change, would it?
No,
it
I
would
mean
not.
it depends. I've seen it both ways.
Yes, I had not thought about intoxicants, I suppose. An additional wrinkle.
So have fun with all that.
Yeah.
It will be interesting.
Yes. Worm says, looking around like, oh, geez.
I look forward to seeing how this turns out, provided time is still running by the time you have this operational.
He looks a little sparkle. If time continues to break down, it's even possible that you will get to see it without too much time moving forward for you.
That's true, too. Which is why it's important that we resolve our business with the Bronze Prince and get him to join our cause.
Yes, I do not wish for you to be late for your meeting, so should I take you back to your room?
That'd be great.
Yes, thank you. This has been
Very
a
well.
lovely chat.
And he creates a blazing ring of energy and gets you back to your room. But he does not go through it. And he, from past the ring, he says, "Thank you all for your insight." And he says, "And you report back to your position." And the ring closes.
Oh, man. I think we just screwed them up royally.
Hey, I said talk to someone who's not us because we will mess things up.
Oh,
We
I'm a little
gave
disappointed
them
that you said that.
important information.
I am not. I do not want to. Look, we have so many troubles because of all the stuff you guys have done. I do not want to be responsible for messing up another society.
Hey, we have not messed up a society.
Shall I?
That wasn't us.
All right, then
That was
just
Wolf.
Ket.
Sure, I'll go with that. But
Matters of
more
blame
so,
are
more
not
so on Lolth,
necessarily
though.
important.
Yes.
Sure.
The main thing is, this will be an interesting place to come back to
Oh, yeah.
in a few years.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Ket and I are just not welcome.
I don't know why. You don't have a letter on your head that says criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Be
think you would have
honest.
appreciated our regular jobs.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of us would be particularly welcome in a perfect society, even Master Rivendorn.
I don't think you've ever been to the Feywild.
No.
Perfect society.
What?
Look, it
What?
doesn't even follow the laws of nature, so I'm going to go with it is
She has you there.
highly imperfect.
It's a matter of perspective, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. That there's no perspective. You can't figure out where the horizon is. It was terrible. And I was only there for like a day.
I was there for years.
I'm so sorry. It sounds awful.
Hate that place.
Yes, but in that place's defense, you have yet to not hate most of the places we've been to.
I like the material plane. I like this plane.
We traveled to 12 different vertices.
We didn't travel to 12 different vertices.
Yeah, it was
And
like 4.
every time.
I liked the Virtus with the very comfy robe where they put Orm in a gem. That was my favorite.
That had its problems as well.
I liked carrying Orm around in a tube. That was nice.
Another example, I think, of why any utopia would probably not welcome any of us. Well, perhaps more than you think.
Yeah, you'd fit in just fine. They'd like find you, goats to feed on or whatever.
No. No. When you speak of building societies and talking of laws, my eyes roll back in my head. It just reminds me of my childhood. I would literally rather be fighting to the death. That is not an exaggeration. That is, in fact, my life goal. To avoid the court with the sword.
If we do not close these deals and soon, you may get your wish.
Well,
I don't think speed is our decision to make at this point.
in any case, we should prepare for our audience.
Yeah.
Speaking of audiences, I think this is where we're going to leave you, fine listeners, this week. Wow,
Some
building a
fascinating
society.
stuff,
Hopefully in this
man.
last hour, you have learned how to build your own perfect society.
Or why
Yeah.
we shouldn't.
Yes, or why,
You've learned
why these
more
five,
accurately what Brian
what
said.
five characters should not build a society.
learned what our characters paid attention to in our civics classes, or the lack thereof.
But yeah, we will end it there, and next time, hopefully, we will have our audience with the Bronze Prince, and things will go on our way, and life will be perfect, and we'll save the universe one new god at a time. But until then, podcast at majorspoilers.com, patreon.com/majorspoilers. We certainly could use your help and support, and you can get a whole bunch of cool stuff in return. Until next time, dear listener, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2018 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.